Hi, it's Professor Shoemaker, and I'm going to give you a quick video here on managing multiple worksheets. What I have here is an Excel spreadsheet. This is in Excel 2013, but it behaves the same way in Excel 2010. I have a documentation worksheet. This is for widget profit projections for Acme widgets. There's a documentation worksheet. And then we have the AL15 model widget. Let's correct this, AL15. And we have the total of parts, $877.56, labor, $450, and we expect to sell the widget for $2,499. Here's the F006 model widget. Parts are that much, labor's that much, selling price down here. Now, both these worksheets, as I click back and forth between them, have the same exact same layout. So what I'm going to do is use Excel's ability to group worksheets to work on both worksheets simultaneously. So what I'm going to do is click on the AL15, and then I'm going to hold down the Control key and click on the F006. Now that I have both of them lit up here, that is, they're both turned white down here, whatever I do on one worksheet will also be done on the other. So for example, let's put in a sum here to total up the parts and the labor. So I'm just going to do it the hard way here like this. I have a total there. And then down here under selling price, I'm going to add profit. And I'll make that the difference between the selling price and the cost. So this says we expect to have a profit of $1,170.99 on the AL15. Now I've been doing all this work in the AL15 worksheet, but if I click on the F006, you can see that my profit showed up here as well, and so did this sum. Let's put out the word total here. I'm now working in the F006 worksheet. If I type total here and switch back to AL15, now the word total is there. If I make this bold here and switch back to the F006, that's bold. So let's do a little bit of formatting because I've got my formulas now. So I'll make this bold, and I'll take these worksheets and merge them, and I'll set a cell style of dark blue, and I'll take these worksheets and merge those and set a cell style of a little bit lighter color. Now, I've been doing that in F006. When I switch back to the AL15, look, it picked up all the formatting as well. So when you have two worksheets that are doing the same thing but for a different widget model, a different quarter, something like that, you can group them together, and as long as they have the same layout, you can work on one and you're working on the other one at the same time. Okay, now what I want to do is make a new worksheet in the workbook. I want to go out of grouping mode to do that, so I'm just going to click over here on the documentation. And when I do that, now I've gone out of grouping mode, and all three of the worksheets are independently. Again, to go back into grouping mode, I select one, hold down the Control key, select the other, and I have two workbooks, or two worksheets rather, that are lit up. Now it's in grouping mode, and any change I make, like if I make this font a little bit bigger, that will also show up in the other worksheet. To get out of grouping mode, you click away from the group onto a different worksheet like the documentation worksheet, and now I'm out of grouping mode and the two worksheets are independent again. So what I want to do is create a summary worksheet that summarizes the parts and labor, total, selling price, and so on across these two worksheets. To do that, in other words, let me just make this point, that the summary worksheet will have the exact same layout as these two worksheets. Now I'm not going to start the summary worksheet from scratch. Instead, what I'm going to do is take one of these two worksheets like the AL15, and I'm going to make a copy of it by selecting create a copy of AL15 and click on OK. And what happens is it's created a new worksheet in the workbook here, and it named it AL15 and then put 2 in parentheses. And what I'm going to do is simply click in there and change this to summary. Now I'm going to come up here on this and take away AL15 and make this summary. I'm only working on the single workbook right now. Now I want to take these numbers and get them from the two worksheets combined. So the parts, labor, and selling price I'm going to pick up from the corresponding columns in the other two worksheets. To do that, I'm going to use a sum function. Sum. Now, the syntax is a little bit tricky. I put in a single quote and the name of the worksheet, AL15, colon, the other worksheet, F006, single quote again. Then I put in an exclamation point and the name of the cell that I want to sum, which is the same cell I'm in right now. That's B4. And close my parentheses. And poof. The 2,134.45 is the sum of that number plus that number. And I've summed across the two worksheets, and you can see it up here, AL15 to F006. If I happen to have 5 of these worksheets, I could name the first one and the last one, and it would sum across all 5. I'm going to take this formula here and and drag it down to get the total of labor, and then I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put the border in first like that. Then I'm going to copy it and put it down in selling price, and now I have my sum across both worksheets. And it's very easy to do. Really, if you're starting from scratch in a project at work, for example, what you want to do is get one worksheet laid out exactly the way you want it, and then just keep copying it to create the other ones, and then finally copy to create a summary, and you can summarize all of them. If you have questions about the assignment, please send me an email or post on the discussion board. Thanks.